Saya set Wednesday afternoon. Ya. Kita dah pilih masa kan? Wednesday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So baik. Then first thing, bila you guna script file, as I said, we have three types how we can manage our inputs. We manage our variables. So either variables, this is two terms ataupun kita sebut sebagai two words, which is very very important. Define and assign. Okay, what is define? Define basically you define variables. Okay, variables. Okay, then assign value. Okay, this is assign value. So when you want to start using a MATLAB, then specifically using a script file, you not write something into your script file. So you have to define your variables. Then assign value to variables. Two things. The first, either you not define then assign variables in script file pun boleh juga, ataupun you not assign variables in script file. Define variables in script file and assign the value in command window. Also can. Then the next one, all variables and assigning the value to the variables be done in command window also can. So these three things, some people they used to define variables in script file while assigning value to the variables in command window. Kenapa? But sometimes you punya data, you have a big data, so that is why you have to use less space in script file. Then you move to the command window. And some people they also tends to import data from other files. For example, from Excel files, from a spreadsheet file. Itu tak ada, itu jadi three things ya, tiga benda yang you kena ingat. So this is the example how we manage our input. For example, our variables, defining variables in script file and assigning value to the variables. And this is the script file. Okay. Then this one done in command window. So in it, yeah, this is command window. This is script file. So let's look at here. The variables name first, game 1, 75, game 2, and this one is equations. Equations in script file. So okay, but if you want to complete this program, so you can execute or you can run your programs in command window. This one, ex1 basically is a file name to this file. ex1, yeah, you can type ex1 in the command window. You click enter, then directly dia akan execute the programs. Okay, macam ni juga pun boleh. Macam ni maksudnya defining dan assigning defining the variables, assigning value to the variables done in X file. So for example, you give the value to the variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, then running or executing your script file ex2. Then you get the results. And this is another one. You define your variables in script file while you assign value your variables in command window. Yeah, this is X. This one enter. And this is the example lah. Then you look at here. You make sure ini the style dia. Okay. Nanti saya akan tunjuk kalau sempat tak letak kita buat exercise as I said again in Wednesday. Right. So kita tengok kat sini. So analyzing with keyboard input. This is what they call analyzing with keyboard input. The input function displays a prompt string, the command window, then waits for the user to respond. This they call it analyzing. So for example, we have variables named my value equal to input. You have to write it in the bracket. Then must be we call it this is single quotes, and then enter input double quotes. Then this value will be displayed in command window. Then you have to give a value to this my value variables in order these functions this file uh, go to the next line. Okay, this is another one, input two. Okay. However, in the input two, if we write like this, meaning that you have to insert a string word instead of value. So words lah. Sama saja macam C programming. Yeah, the system is quite similar about giving a name or giving a value to your variables using a string ataupun word lah, text. So then, how we manage our output? We have two types. We manage our output. First, we call display command. Display command, you have to write display first. Dan kemudian you kena letak bracket and a single quotes. This is how we write our display commands. So display commands, then the 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 instructions will be executed. Then the answer will be displayed in the command window. Okay, this is very simple. Okay, then but if you want to, for example, if you want to display a result, just a result or variables, just directly name or write the variable's name in the bracket. This one for string or text. Okay, another one we call fprintf command. Fprintf command to display output or text or data on the screen, output or product text or data on the screen, or save into the file. So I can let you know later on how we can save our output in the file into the file. Okay, so this is the way fprintf text type. You have to write a text. Then later on how we can recall all the variables input. Okay, look at the variable. Basically kita akan contohnya ini adalah contoh fprintf. Okay, this is example. Okay, for example, answer or B. Okay. Then you kena beri format value. Okay, selalunya kita akan sebut 3.5 F, okay, dan kemudian you klik dan kemudian you akan letak variables name my value. So my value will be displayed according to the instruction given 3.5. What is the 3.5 F? 3.5 F meaning you punya value ataupun your number will be displayed according to these instructions. These are floating type numbers where the decimal point is 5, then the number in front of the decimal point is 3. So yeah, 3.5 F. But it's up to you, like you can manage. You can insert anything, any numbers, any value you want. Okay, dan kemudian kita sebut plots. Already discussing the plots, x, y, x refer to the function y refer to the function function x, y to refer to the function y. So start with our x dulu lah, x and y. This is another example, plot time this plot times. So plot these distributions ataupun this. Okay. So you can formatting your plot by giving a label to x axis or y axis. Also, you can put titles. This is the built-in functions. You can use these built-in functions to give instructions to your programs. Okay, then at the same time, we can put a text label in the plot as well by like this. Okay, then or by using this what we call it, this specific built-in functions. Okay, then ini sebagai contoh lah. Okay, look at here, there are the titles, then the y-axis here, the x-axis here. Okay, then look at here, we ask the computer, the MATLAB to draw a graph from 0 to pi, the increment of the increment, the step size of this value, this graph is 0 to pi. Okay, then uh, this is title, simple plot. Okay, then we have a MATLAB graphics, another MATLAB graphics like this, where you provided the label to the y-axis, and also the title to the graph. Okay, then how we are going to do with with the one line. So remember that plot xy line specifiers property name or property value. This one is a compulsory. Well, this one is not compulsory. If you want, it's optional, and the rest is optional. It's up to you lah. By default, your line will be solid line and color and blue color. But if you want to change to a dash line or something like not a solid line, you can. If you want to make it that line bigger than by default, then we can do here by specify the type, the style, the color, the markers, and the size, the edge or the field of colors. Okay, and then again, as a solid, you just use one line. If you want to change the line to be dash line, this we call it double, then dotted or dash dotted. So to change the color of your lines, you just remember all the specifier, red, R for red, green for G for green, B for blue, and the rest. Okay. Then marker type. What is the marker type? Marker type basically to give a sign to your data to the point. This is marker type. So, for example, if you have a graph like this, then you have three data somewhere. So, if you choose plus sign, so this point will be displayed or shown as a plus. If you choose cycle, this one will be on cycle. Okay, same thing happens to the asterisk and point. Then at the same time, you can change or you can make your marker as a square dimensions. Square dimensions. So square, this is S, a diamond, or 5-point star, or 6-point star. Okay. So this is the example. We have 4 examples how we manage our plots. And this is by default. Okay, to change the blue solid line to red, then you just insert R or something like this. Okay, then if you to change the solid line to dash line with a yellow color, change the insert add Y. Then if you want to insert a mark into your line, then this one. Okay. So in the property line, a property name or property value, basically you can adjust the thickness of your line, and this is we call line width. A number in units is 0.5 by default, but you can increase to 1 to 2 to 3. It doesn't make, it's up to you. Okay, the marker size also can be improved, can be adjusted. The marker color, edge color juga can be adjusted. Okay? It depends on your line. Yeah? Okay, so we have another one. We call it plot or plot command. This is nice. To plot y equal to function of x, then you need to create a vectors of value of x. Vector y is created by corresponding values of fx using element by element calculations. Once 2 vectors are created, then you can plot the graph using that vector, so x and y. Okay, so plot a function continue. This is the example where we have a functions here. Y equal to 3.5, okay? Power negative 0.5 multiplied by x, okay? Multiplied by cos 6x for negative, the x is start from negative 2 to 4. Okay, then this, okay, basically we don't have the vector of y, but vector of y will be created by executing these equations. Okay, so don't worry about that one. So once executed by this, once MATLAB executed the instruction here, so the MATLAB creates a vector of y, and using that informations, you can plot x, y versus x graph. Okay, Y versus X. So then, okay. So plot a function, plot of functions. This is you call a plot command. Plot functions is form Y and X between specific lines, specific limits. So we want to create another plots from the original plots. This is the called plot functions of plot functions. So we provide a limit to the original or to the original plots. Then using that original, they can plot another one. And so just but you have to use the call here build a function f plot. But if you miss the f, just plot. So it going back to the original plots. Okay. So this is example. No, we don't have any example here. Okay. Example of a plot. Just a simple plot. Okay. So you can also draw multiple graphs using hold on and hold off commands. One graph is plotted in first with plot command. Then you put hold on command inside. This is happen in script file. This keeps the figure window with the first plot open, including the x-axis formatting. And if you put it hold on, meaning that you instruct the MATLAB to put another plots into the same graph. Okay? Meaning that to add another plots into the same graph. Then if you write hold off, meaning that you ask the whatever lines or instructions come after hold off, meaning you ask the MATLAB to draw to show new plots, new window, and then with the new plots. Okay, this is the difference between hold on and hold off. Without hold on, hold off, MATLAB will create. If you ask MATLAB to plot different figures, you will create that figures in different window. But if you put hold on and hold off, all these different figures will be put in one figures. Okay, one figure, for example. This is another one. This is another example. Additional graph line can be added to the plot that already exists. So just use hold on, hold off. Right? Another one we call it lines. So meaning that another one we call a line and complete a partial line, meaning you want to add another line into the same graph. Okay, to the same graph. What's the difference between hold on, and hold off? Basically, in one window, you can see two graphs together, multiple graph. But in lines, using line, you can draw another line into the same graph. Okay. Then also you can plot multiple plots into the same window, using this subplot, subplot command. And plots will algorithm exist. You have to give instructions to the MATLAB using semilog, and log. Log meaning that you ask both axes will be in the logarithm exists. But if semi-log, meaning that only one axis will be in the logarithm. Okay, now formatting a plot using plot editor. It's okay. This one I can skip. That one it's not really. Not really important to our discussion right now, because this is just accessories. Accessories. What we just depends on the by default display or by default system. Okay, this is another one. We can have histograms, and we can have random numbers. Okay, random numbers. We can have polar plots. Okay, by polar plots. This is the example of polar plots. You can use other graph functions, summary. Okay, then you can add grids to the plots. For example, grid. You know grid, yeah. So you divide it in your graph into small square. And this is called grid. Okay, then you can use figure or pose for the user response. Okay, So we already discussed about the script. We already discussed about the function also. Okay, script which do not accept input arguments or return output arguments, they operate on data in the workspace. While function which can accept input arguments and return output arguments into the variables are local to the functions. What does it mean? Eh, what does mean about functions? Function basically is a bridge in between. For example, this is your MATLAB. So this is your input. This is your output. Okay. So this is your functions. Okay. Sorry, function lah. This is your functions. But if script, if you use script meaning all this inside in I mean input and output in the same file. So we did our script do not accept any input arguments or return output. They operate on data in the workspace, meaning that all the data already been saved, stored in the workspace. But functions, your data will not be some of your data or all your data not stored in workspace. Rather than your data will be stored, will be saved in different files. For example, in Excel file, in a text file, it is up to you how you manage to display your output or you manage to have your input. Okay, then we have another one we call it if else statement. This was MATLAB basically is really simple. Simple. I mean the way we write in the MATLAB is very simple compared to C programming. C programming. This is we call if else statement. I believe all of you already understood what is the meaning of if else. So you just like this if else and end. Once end this one. So this one or is if you have two options, you just use if and end. If you have more than three options, have else if and end. Okay, if more than three, then you can repeat as if many times. Okay, many times. Okay, we have another one, switch statement. What's the switch statement? Switch statements, you do understand what is a switch statement. Basically, ask your computer to choose, ask the user basically to choose which which formula or which program need to be done. So, for example, uh, you choose from zero to two. This is the instructions. But more than two, you will go to otherwise, then end. And end. So the selection is not here. The selection only asks you to zero to. Okay. For loop, we can just use this I. Please remember I here is not the same. It's not. It's different with what we call that previously we call imaginary numbers. But I here adalah index lah. J juga index. So meaning that the I will start from 2 to 5. It depends how we can manage to increase the numbers. Okay, so this is another one J. Kemudian kita ada while loop juga, tapi dia gunakan while. While basically dia semua serupa macam if, tapi di sini dia gunakan lebih kepada repeating iterations. So dalam you punya assignment kelak you akan pakai coba not now bila you masuk dalam discussion kelak. So kita ada for dan kita ada while dan itu sajalah. For dia logical decisions dan juga kita ada sebagai looping decisions. Okay, so skip this one. Then that's it for MATLAB. But any questions? Ada soalan? Nak tengok slide saya ke dalam tu? Hello? Okay. Okay. You boleh buat exercise ni. You dah buka MATLAB ke masing-masing?